Hello there, it's Moira McDonald. I thought I would be quite brave today and actually try to do the sewing of the signature. Hello. I don't do anything fancy in terms of sewing in the signature. It's pretty much how everybody else does it. But I know that there's always new folk coming to YouTube to watch things, so in that respect I don't suppose it ever does any harm to have somebody else doing one. I learned from a really good tutorial from Yvonne Preston, so I will try to link to that video so that obviously you can get a bit more idea what to do. I use a book to dig into, and it is the undergraduate prospectus from Strathclyde University of 2011, which was in fact the year my son went, hence why we have the book. So just open it at the middle, or not the middle, but as near the middle as you can get. I have checked, and it's maybe just as well I did, that I have my pages up the right way, and also that they're in, as far as I can see, the middle of the book. I've pinned them in place with a couple of big paper clips because it is fairly chunky. And we will now try to make holes in the appropriate places. Now in Yvonne's tutorial, which is excellent incidentally, Yvonne measured things out, and to be fair, I generally do measure, but in this instance, because I'm trying to do it with the camera on, there's not really an awful lot of room for me to play with here, so I'm going to just try to do it by eye and hopefully get into the right position. Now I'm planning on doing I'm going to have to stand up to do this, a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and hopefully this is going to be in the middle. If it's not, I've ruined everything, but we'll see how we go. So you take your awl or your pokey tool or whatever you call it, and you make your hole in the centre of your book, and make sure you're digging through. If you do it in the crease of an existing book, it really helps to make sure that you've got something to kind of hold it in position. Now you need another, it's a 3-hole pamphlet stitch I'm going to do, so I need another 2 holes, and roughly about, I would say maybe 2 inches from my first hole either side. Should do it with any luck, and we'll hope to goodness that I've gone through far enough. It's probably going to be quite difficult to see them, but we'll see what we can do. Right, in theory that's us done with the undergraduate prospectus. The next thing we need to do is get our needle. I've got quite a big needle, but I had a smaller one that I had been using and I broke it the other day, so maybe stick with the bigger one. I used wax linen thread. I saw a video way back when I did my first book, and the girl, she wasn't actually making a junk journal, she was literally just showing you how to bind a book, and it was what she recommended, wax linen thread, so that's primarily what I use. I have used other, you know, like the stuff you do embroidery with, embroidery floss. I have used that in the past, but I must admit I prefer the wax linen. I think it's stronger and much more secure. Right, so you measure out roughly 3 times the length of your book, and then starting in the middle hole that you've just dug, you go right through. If it's possible, wedge that under the bit of thread under your thumb, Now what you've got to do is you've got to find the other one, the other hole, right, that you've just dug. And this is where it starts to get kind of difficult as far as I'm concerned, because it's not always possible for everything to go through when it should. Wait a minute till we find it again. This video will probably be a good 20 minutes longer than it needs to be, simply because I make such a song and dance of this bit. I mean, I can see straight away that all my pages are out of position. So this is what makes it quite difficult. If you're doing it with a smaller book that's not quite as chunky, believe you me, it is a lot easier. The chunkier the book, the harder it begins to get. Please excuse the barking in the background. When Daisy has access to the window in the hall, she just watches for poor innocent folk wandering past and barks at them. Right, finally I got through all the pages. Now you know it's a good journal when the person making it brings out the pliers to pull the needle through. But quite frankly, I just don't have the strength in my hand 9 times out of 10 to get the needle through the holes. Right. So I'm going to use that, pull that towards me there, and I'm going to go back in through that middle hole. Hopefully not in any way piercing the thread, because that weakens it a little bit. And it weakens it enough to make it a blooming nuisance. Now what we've got to do is find that other hole. I'm going to stick my awl in again so that I can try and find it. Right, now I know where it is. And I don't believe I actually managed to get it straight through, and it went through all the papers that time. So that's a good sign. Right. So that's us. What we want to do is obviously make sure that the thread is relatively tight and that there isn't any loose bits lying anywhere. Can't see anything certainly at the front. Going to be difficult to see the back because I've put these on, so we'll move these off. Just make sure my book's not... Nope, there's no extra thread there. So now I take my thread, put it under the one that's already there, and pull in opposite directions firmly, but not, you know, still with a degree of gentility, if you like, because if you're too rough, you're on the risk of just ripping paper. Double knot should be enough with, certainly with waxed linen, because it does tighten up. And that should be us book tied. You can then of course go in and decorate your ends if you like, and I may well put something on them, or as is more likely I won't, but I'll leave them now so that we can decide that at a later date. There's my signature there. There, it's in the centre of my book. You can barely see it against the colour of that, but everything's pretty much in there, and that's it. So that's the sewing of the signature. Okay, any questions or comments, give me, oopsie daisy, wouldn't be me without an oopsie daisy, give me a shout and we'll see if we can address them. So thanks for your time on this one, and I shall speak to you very, very soon when we start tackling. Incidentally, I know for a fact there's still a page in that I haven't actually done anything with decoration wise. I'll maybe have a wee go at that in a minute, and then from here on in it's making tags and then doing a wee bit more decoration in the front. So thanks very much for your time. I shall see you soon. Bye guys, bye.